What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not think I'd be doing a video like this today. I really didn't. I was honestly planning on stacking up videos for the next few days because I'm still sick and I wanted to bring you guys something. Maybe talk about the NBA draft, talk about potential trade targets and whatnot. But the Bulls actually made a trade and it's an interesting one. It really is. It sees what I think is a very popular player leave the Chicago Bulls and an interesting prospect come into the Chicago Bulls. They have a couple of similarities in their game, but they are also different players. And it's definitely an interesting one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in and let's talk about the trade the Bulls just did maybe about 40 minutes ago. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Bulls and the trade that they made. Who do you think got the better of it? Obviously, these two teams did this trade for different reasons, and I do feel like this is a trade where no team truly gets fleeced in that situation. And it's very rarely where you think of a trade and you think flat out, this team lost and this team won. Or, it's very rare where you think, all right, both teams, you understand it, and both teams did win in the end. I mean, maybe Cleveland fans will disagree, but again, I think Cleveland are taking a risk, and if the risk pays off, they're in for a treat. And this popular player that is leaving the Chicago Bulls is Lonzo Ball. I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but Lonzo Ball is not a Chicago Bulls player anymore. And he is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro is on his way to the Chicago Bulls. And I assume we're going to be keeping him around. I can't see him leaving or being a short-term thing and we go and trade him later. I really feel like this is it. We are going to have Isaac Okoro in this Chicago Bulls team. Straight up, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if there's anything else in there. Feel free to let me know. Maybe when this trade gets more publicized, we could see if there were picks thrown in there or something along those lines. But from my understanding, it's straight up. Both teams, players are making similar amount of money. Lonzo Ball making $10 million. I think Okoro is making around $11 million. I think both players have 2 years left on their deal. It really feels like it's a straight swap, and the Bulls decided to pull the trigger on something like that. First and foremost, we would need to talk about Lonzo Ball. All I want to do first is sit here and wish him nothing but the best with Cleveland. I've said this in the past to my friends, and I want to say it now. There are two players where if they had left the Chicago Bulls, I would be following them to the moon and back. Maybe not. Of course, I'd never leave my team. The Bulls are my team, and I'd be following them till I die. But I'm talking about supporting their careers after they leave the Chicago Bulls. One of them is Kobe White. The reason why is I really can relate to Kobe White. I can relate to his story. I can relate to everything about him. He's one of my favorite players in the league. If he had left the Chicago Bulls this season, next season, or whenever he does leave, I hope he doesn't. But if he does leave, whatever team he goes to would be my second favorite team in the league. I promise you that. But the second player is Lonzo Ball. Because he's doing God's work right now. He's doing miraculous things in the NBA. He is coming back from an injury that no one has ever come back from in sports, let alone basketball. And he's doing it at a great level. He was doing it really well. When he returned for the Chicago Bulls, he did some good things. And I'm so happy for him. And I want that story and that entire situation to continue. I want him to continue to show positivity and to continue to show messages to athletes around the world that no matter what injury you have, there is a chance that you can overcome it if you really want to. So he's doing great things. And ultimately, it is sad to see him leave the Chicago Bulls. And I do wish him nothing but the best. But you also need to look at it from a Bulls perspective, and I've said this in the past as well. The Bulls would probably be asking themselves, when is enough enough with Lonzo Ball? When is enough enough? At the end of the day, they're probably thinking to themselves, we can't wait for Lonzo Ball forever. If he's going to continue to get injured, this time it's his wrist that's hurting him. He had a big wrist injury that he didn't come back from towards the end of the season. So all those things play a factor. And they had to ask that question, and ultimately, I guess we now know that last injury was the final blow with Lonzo Ball and the Chicago Bulls. But let's be honest, I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to be complaining about going to Cleveland. I mean, they're championship quality team. They're a contending team, and they will be a contending team this season. I mean, the East is so wide open. It is unbelievable right now. All the trades that are happening, they're making the East like it's a crap fest in the East. I'll be honest, all the East teams suck. That's how I view it at the moment. So Cleveland, keeping their team relatively the same, taking a risk on a player that I think they personally need is not a bad option. The one thing I feel like Cleveland needed was an offensive player that could get people in their sets and that could work the half-court offense and could be a facilitator for that Cleveland team. They have great scorers, but it felt very much, especially in the playoffs, like isolation basketball. It was Donovan Mitchell trying to create ISOs or Darius Garland trying to create ISOs. The big men weren't getting involved and they had very lackluster playoff experiences. And therefore, everything kind of crumbled in Cleveland. So you're getting a playmaker. You're getting someone that can get the big man involved. You're getting someone that can hit you in transition and make things a little bit easier in the open court. That's exactly what they need. And they got what they need. So it's a risk that could pay off if Lonzo stays healthy. But if Lonzo doesn't stay healthy, well, they got rid of one of their better defenders in their own team. And they're not going to get much out of it if Lonzo can't play for them. So I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope Cleveland can do wonders with Lonzo. And with that being said, let's talk about Isaac Okoro to the Chicago Bulls. So I feel like I should mention his stats. He played 55 games, which is not a lot for the Cleveland Cavaliers this last season. He averaged 6.1 points, 2.4 rebounds, 1.2 assists, shooting 46.7% from the field. And the thing that stands out the most to me is 37.1% from the three-point line. And I believe that's on around 2.7 attempts. So not an incredible, I guess, split in terms of field goal percentage and three-point percentage, but he can knock down the three at a good level, at an above NBA level on 2.7 attempts. But he's known for his defense. He is known for being a big part of his defense, and at 6'5", he plays bigger than he is, and I see him fitting very well into the forward positions. I think this works out for Isaac Okoro because with the Bulls, where we are right now, we're not in a position where we're going to be competing for a championship, but he also has probably more opportunities to grow his offensive game with the Chicago Bulls compared to Cleveland. Cleveland, it was the Donovan Mitchell show, it was the Darius Garland show, it was the Evan Mobley show. Isaac Okoro was left to the wayside a little bit offensively, so he might get a chance to prove himself now with the Chicago Bulls. And of course, his defensive opportunities here are going to be magnificent. And I truly believe he will be a very good defender with the Bulls team. We do need more wing defenders, and Lonzo Ball was a part of that as well. He could play pretty much on anyone. With Isaac Okoro, you're getting someone that can play really good defense and shut guards down for sure, and obviously shut forwards down for sure as well. So I really do like this. I really do like this deal for the Bulls. I do think when Lonzo is healthy, he's the better player. And I've said that, and I stand by that. But with Isaac Okoro, he has the durability on his side. I mean, taking a look at his previous seasons, in his first season, he played 67 games. In his second season, he played 67 games. In his third season, he played 76 games. In his fourth season, he played 69 games. In his fifth season, he played 55 games. Look, it's not great, is it? It's still not amazing stuff. But obviously, it's better than what we did have with Lonzo. Lonzo just could not stay healthy in any of the teams that he played for, and that's very unfortunate. So I understand why we did this. You know, the best skill, the best, ability is availability, and obviously the Bulls wanted to go in a direction where at least the player would be playing, and he may be a worse player for most, but at least he'll be playing, and he can make a difference on the court. So it's a difficult one. It really is. And again, I feel like there is no fleeced in this situation. I don't think Cleveland got fleeced because they're taking a risk on a player that they need. And I don't think the Bulls got fleeced because we do have a lot of guards and some good ones as well. I mean, Trey Jones and Io are going to be our backup point guards now. And I think our point guard position is kind of sorted in that area. And now you've got someone that's a little bit more of the off-the-ball type of player that can make a difference for you. And again, he's 24 years of age, so there's development in him also. This is a good deal, I think, for both teams. I hope it works out for both. I really, really do. And with that being said, I don't think I have too much else to say. I cannot believe I'm making a video like this right now. Thank you for watching, nonetheless. And I will see you guys in the next one. You know, stunned. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.